welcome to the premiere episode of Riffing with John, where I pretty much show you my workflow on how I lay down ideas for songs. So I figure it gives you more insight to how I go about making things on the fly. Without further ado, here we go. I got ideas in my head. So for now, we are gonna go try to look for a sound. All right, so I think we'll start with something like this. All right. All right, I think we're gonna work with that. Next, I'm gonna find my BPMs. So let's go ahead. Right now, I think I have 150. So let's see what 150 sounds like. I think we'll slow it down a little bit. So I want to say maybe we'll go about 145. Check that out. We're gonna lay down that first idea and then double track it. So here we go. Try again. 5, 6, 7, 8. Warm up, kids. All right, sweet. So we're gonna take about half of that, edit it. Oh, this is gonna be cut anyways. All right, and we're going to double track. Lies. Disengage. I didn't cut it in the correct place, so we're gonna back that thing up. Do it for 2 more measures. As I lay these ideas down, pretty much I do it by piece. So I tend to lay down the guitar, and then I kind of immediately have an idea for drums, and then I'll go ahead and search through my drum library and find something that fits it. And then I'll move on to the next piece. At the same time, while I'm doing this, I'm also figuring out the next, drum piece. The way my mind works, it starts with one idea, and then I start hearing everything else. But sometimes the next part immediately after the first thought I have is drums, not necessarily guitar. Even though I started with guitar, I'm not laying those down next. So it flip-flops. It goes back and forth. So we'll see. Some drums. For this particular genre or style that I do, I tend to use Easy Drummer 2. I like the sounds for it. Everything kind of works cohesively with the guitar tones that I choose and then the drums that I ended up editing. It works for me. So, Easy Drummer 2 is my go-to for this style. I'm just going to audition drums and just see which one, fits. Kind of like that. So, we are going to start the song off with guitar on its own, and then we'll bring in the drums. Well, let's audition that. Doesn't really go together, which leaves me with 2 options. I can maybe reconfigure how I play the riff or the timing of how I play the riff, or find a new drum beat. I kind of do like the drum beat, so I'm gonna see if I can play the riff differently. You try different things when you're writing songs, and just reason why I'm making these videos to show you how exactly I do it, because not everything's a formula. Also, I think I still want to slow it down. So we're going to go ahead, maybe bring it down to 138. I do play the riff a bit differently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-record the riff. Do I play the riff different? I'm not sure. Let's go. I go with the feel of the drums. I don't have a drummer at the moment, so this is the homie right here. Like I said, my gears are turning for the parts to come. And I think I want to bring in a little bit more of the heaviness, or distorted guitars, not even call it heavy. And I'm going to go with something more metal. And fall away. I want a black beat. I don't know. Something just... I've used it before, but I'm gonna throw it in, and but I'm gonna change that fill because I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I think I overuse that fill. No. Wow. So I'm gonna drop this. I'm only gonna use the fill though. See how it sounds. And that gets a pass. Okay, cool. So that is the next part. Now I have to track those heavy guitars. Alright, yeah, we're gonna break it apart. Double track. And when you're tracking, always continue playing it so that way it gives room to edit when you are splicing other parts to put them together. It makes it sound more natural. So, and then X for blending. And then copy. And if I want to get fancy, I can go ahead and audition a different fill for the end of the last part so it's not repeating. Nah, too much. No. Just doing too much, man. My face has captions. So let's bring that in actually. Cha-cha, cha-cha. We're gonna somewhat keep what was going on but change the last part just to see how it sounds. Yeah. Boom, works. Alright, cool. So next part, I think I'm gonna go back to maybe the dirty guitars. I might even use a lead and just hit with the bass. We're gonna see what it sounds like going into. Okay, so we need to find ourselves another drum beat. Boom. Let's do a halftime. I hear halftime. Bam. And after that, we'll pick it up. We'll start blending more guitar sounds into it, but I think the beat is also going to change. So we'll start. So I hear like a hi-hat, not necessarily a ride cymbal. So I'm going to audition those next. So I got those next two parts down. And save your progress. I haven't been saving. I have an autosave feature, so, but still, you know. Anyways, boom, boom, boom. I hear that part, a verse, if you will. Got a verse. I got a verse with a little bit more beef to it. And then maybe a bridge. Let's see what a bridge sounds like. Bring it in. We'll do that maybe one time and then come in with a big chorus. And I hear something with the crash, so I'm going to try to filter that a little bit more. Alright, bro. Chill. This drum is too much. Sometimes. Blast. Kind of like a shoegazy chorus. And I think we'll do that twice. I think we got the drums complete. Now what we're going to do is figure out the next parts. Kind of got something going. So before I go on to the next part, I'm contemplating whether I want to do the leads or I want to figure out the next part. So let's see. I think I want to continue that. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So like I said, kind of keep somewhat of that idea. Keep rolling with it. It's gonna be a bridge, so we'll record that. Big open chorus. Double track, baby. All right, cool. So yeah, pretty much Now we are going to move on to laying down the bass. So I like to get the beef of the song first, foundation, just like any other songwriters and stuff like that. Nothing different. And I think I want to end the song with this, kind of like the dirty guitars, but playing the chorus. Probably do a fade out. Yeah, cool. All right, little ideas that pop in their heads, you know, just bam, real quick. So now we got that laid down. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my bass. And I got the note wrong, yay! All right, and just like always, like I said, give it some tail. Get a little tail on the end so you can blend in. Just realized I am also recording on this track. Get out of here! I think this is kind of idea I'm gonna go with. Just relate. Give it that bam. All right, so the bass is laid down. Boom. Save your progress, kids. Typically, I start with this effect. I call it ambient lead. So you hear it, right? So let's go ahead. Since we were working on the chorus, this is kind of the thing I'm mostly refreshed with as far as like what's going on in my head. So if that made any sense. So I'm just gonna go ahead and play it. I know it sounds crazy right now, but let's go. Go ahead and keep that. Sometimes I like doing a copy and pitch shifting it 1 octave. Just gives it a, you know, just a little bit more presence. I like to pair those with my twang lead. Twang. Those tend to be a little bit more singular notes. I don't know, it just goes well together. I like it. At the moment, I don't think I'm going to add anything right there, but for sure I am going to add some of these ambients during the thrashing parts. Cool, keep it simple. Maybe throw in some twang right here. Usually with the broken up chords like this, you want to give yourself some leeway, you know, so because you don't want to come right at the marker, so you kind of want to have a pre-sweep, if you will. So here we go. All right, let's give it up for that. Bang, bang, bang. Okay, so I want to beef up this next part, and I have these heavy guitar settings, and so I think I'm gonna, fuck it. Like I was saying before, I have these guitar tones set a little bit differently than I did the main ones. What I usually do when I pair those, what I just recorded with the initial guitar parts, I drop the octave of the ones I just played, and it tends to give it a nice beef to the tone. So let's hear how it sounds. Nice. Gives it a little bigger sounding, especially for a chorus part. Okay, so I think we have, going on with that. Yahweh, let that die out. Whoa, a coffee cup in my mug. Coffee cup in my, I have a coffee cup in my hand. Movie magic. So, you know, on to the next. All right, so I say we can call this a done deal. I'm happy with all the parts and, you know, how it played out. I'd like to thank you all for sitting through and watching the process of what it is that I do. This is something I'm going to be doing weekly, so, you know, feel free to tune in. I'll be dropping the whole process on YouTube and, you know, highlights on Instagram, yada, yada, yada. I guess sit back and enjoy the playthrough. Thanks, dudes. Later.